So today I'm going to be changing the oil on my 2005 Bluewater with a 4.3 liter Volvo engine. This has a roughly 4.5 liter oil capacity and requires Volvo Penta parts. I'm going to show you guys how I do this. This is a DIY job. I'm not a professional, but maybe if you're doing it for the first time, this might help you in your oil changes for your boat. So when I first bought this boat, I had never owned a Volvo before. I'd never owned anything with a Volvo Penta. It's always been Mercruiser. So I was a little, anxious about what it's going to take, how different it is. Turns out these Volvo engines are very similar to any kind of Mercruiser you're going to look at. Ultimately it's still a Chevy block. It's just going to have a different configuration, but anatomically it's pretty much all the parts are still there. Gears on, get the water on, turn the engine on, we're pumping water. That's good. You can see the steam coming off the water here. That's how cold it is in Seattle right now. Another reason to get this thing done soon. Got the engine running for about 10 or 15 minutes or so. My temperature gauge is telling me I'm around 150 degrees, and that's the sweet spot for running temperature on this boat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn her off now that we've got nice warm oil. And I'm going to go ahead and start the oil pumping process using my little drill pump. And there's different methods on how you can do this. Some people use a suction tool. I find this piece was relatively cheap to find and buy on Amazon. Just stick it down the dipstick and start pumping it into your bucket. So we'll get that going now. Pull out our dipstick here. Gotta see, oil is ready to be changed. It's getting dark, so let's clean that off, put this thing to the side. Bear with me 1 second while I get that all cleaned off. Let's go ahead and put that down. Wait, hold on. It's a little dirty. There we go. Get that in there. Just run her all the way down. Feed it in. All the way till the point where it hits. Alright, so I've just about pumped out about 4.5 liters worth of oil here. I'm gonna get a little bit more when I pull out the foil filter, so you just want to make sure you have something underneath there to catch that oil. But for the most part, as you can see, you can bring the camera over here, show them the oil in there. You can kind of see I got myself a nice big full bucket of oil, and we're looking good. Now I'm ready to take out the filter. You're going to need just a typical auto filter remover. It's just a clamp. You can find these at any store. You're also going to need a little container here. And that's just so you don't make a mess when you pull off the filter. Be careful not to burn yourself too. If you just run this engine, it's going to be a little hot. So basically, like I said, hoses, not your best friend when trying to do an oil change. So you gotta find a way to get to the bottom piece here and basically turn this thing counterclockwise. I need both my hands. Apologize for the terrible camera work here, but finally got this puppy loose. It was on there a little bit too tight. I had to fight it, and this is why we have our little container underneath, because these oil filters always leak. You don't want this going into your bilge. So anyway, let it drain a little. You can see I'm turning this thing just to let it drain a little bit. And good news is I got it off. I had to put all my pressure on the very top here, not on the bottom.
That way you get a better grip on these things, because that's where they're toughest, or you know, that's where the most metal is. So anyway, relatively, oh no, well, it fell right in there, so I got lucky. Don't judge me for my dirty engine compartment. I haven't had a chance to clean it this year. There we go though. I'll call that a win.
All right, so I've got the fuel filter loosened here. So here I go. I'm gonna make sure you go the loosening direction here and not the tightening direction. There's some fuel in there, so when you take it off, just be careful not to spill. You're gonna wanna throw that away properly. And yeah, it's pretty simple. You wanna put a little bit of oil on the new seal, put it back on, and don't do it too tight. So. The final step is to add the engine oil. I prefer to use Volvo Penta fully synthetic oil, as this is what's recommended by the manufacturer. As I fill, I start checking the dipstick to gauge the level. Once the stick shows the oil at the right level, I run the engine for about 30 seconds and check again. This is because the oil filter absorbs oil and will affect the total fill amount.
Let's see here. Prime. And the oil, not so dark. Good news is, it's all done. Pretty happy about it. I've got the oil filter changed. I've got the fuel filter changed. We put in all new Volvo engine oil, and right now I'm pretty much good to go. I think the next thing I'm going to do here is drain all the petcock valves, pull the water, winterize this puppy, and get her stowed away. Probably clean it. Thanks for watching, guys.